What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? How y'all doing tonight? Let me know if my mic is okay, if I'm sounding clear. What's going on, Kenneth? What's going on, Brandon? What's going on, Southbound? What's going on, Avis? Let me know if I'm sounding clear, if my mic is good to go. Loud and clear. Okay, cool. All right, make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Give me 1 second. Let me get all my stuff up. Hold on just a second. Can hear you loud and clear. Cool. How y'all doing tonight? I know we're kind of late tonight. I had to start the show a little late. I usually try to get started about 9 or 9:30 Eastern time. So forgive me for being a little tardy tonight. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. We're going to talk about the SWAC Media Day tonight. I'm going to open up the phone line so y'all can call in and let everybody know what you thought. We can talk about anything y'all want to talk about during SWAC Media Day. Let's be respectful. Let's not try to go in too hard on, some topics. Y'all know how y'all do. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about SWAC Media Day today. I want to know what were the highlights for you all during SWAC Media Day. To me, I know a lot of people are going to talk about what Coach Prime said, but I like a lot about what the commissioner said. He pretty much made most people feel comfortable about his direction and where he's trying to take the SWAC. He let us know a lot of things as far as budget that we didn't know, in the future, where he's trying to take the conference. All right, everybody tell me I'm good. Okay, cool. Appreciate that. So he was saying that that the SWAC in a couple of years is going to be top 3 in FCS as far as budget. And I didn't know that. That was kind of that was a surprise to me. And then he said I think he said by 2030, I want to say he said that we're gonna be higher in budget than a lot of FBS conferences. Like, well, did you hear about the new Whataburger coming to JSU campus? Oh, that's dope. I don't really too much mess with Whataburger like that though. It's all right. It's all right. But yeah. I mean, I guess that's good for the campus. But I don't really mess with Whataburger like that. What's going on, Raw Truth Media? Also, if y'all not subscribed to his channel, make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. He does good content over there. He talks about SWAC as well. Make sure y'all subscribe to SWAC and the Food. Good brothers doing good work over there. Make sure y'all subscribe to them too. What does he mean by budget? School's budget or payout to school budget? Yeah, I'm assuming he's talking about the payout. Like he's talking about what all the member institutions are going to be getting. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. And then Coach Prime came in and he pretty much doubled down and let people know that he's committed to the SWAC. He's committed to building up the infrastructure of the SWAC. He doesn't want it to he doesn't want Jackson State to be the only school to benefit from what he's doing in the SWAC. And he's not thinking about leaving. He said that, his mind is only focused for right now. Of course, there might be some opportunities for that to come later on, but I like the fact that he really pretty much assured everyone we're not thinking about jumping to FBS and all this other kind of stuff right now. We're focused on the SWAC. We're focused on dominating the conference. Intensity seems to be on. 2030, that's 8 years from now. Wait, I think he said about 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly what year he said, but I know he said 2 years top 3 in the FBS, and then a few years after that it'll be they'll have a bigger budget than a lot of FBS conferences, a few of the FBS conferences. Uh, but yeah, that'd be like 5 to 8 years. Coach Dooley was razor sharp. Yeah, Coach Dooley. A lot of people got on Coach Dooley by wearing the tag on his sleeve though. Like I don't know about that, but yeah, Coach Dooley always fresh, man. He's always fresh. He's one of the best dressed in the SWAC, if you ask me. Coach Prime dresses well too, but that's expected. A lot of people got on Grambling about Grambling suits. What y'all think about Grambling suits? Be real, y'all. What y'all thought about Grambling suits? Okay, Mo Carter done gave us a little bit more info. He's talking about the money generated by the conference through the sponsorships and revenue made last year. Every school received no less than a $500K payout from the conference at the end of the year. Okay. It just said trash. Why y'all think Grambling suits are trash? I want to know. I think wearing the white dress shirt with it with no tie, I think that kind of took away from the flair of the jacket. I think if they packaged it a little better and put some accessories with it, I think they can do something with that jacket. That's just me, I think they could do something with it. Swag fan said ground suits were okay, a little too much. Grambling look like the OJs. Grambling suits cover out of the every Eddie Robinson Museum. They look like the Temptations from 1968. I think they could do something with that though. It depends, man. Accessories are essential. What's going on with I don't know. Maybe I'm old fashioned a little bit, but what's with the? Why can someone tell me? Since Mo Carter's in here, since you're a part of the media, is it standard for people to wear tennis shoes with suits during media events? I can't stand that, y'all. If you're gonna wear a suit, you wear one. Don't like all the tennis shoes and in the suits. I don't like that. Is that a standard thing at these media events? My sound messed up. What's going on with the sound? Somebody said, "What's up with the sound?" Is my sound good? DLOB said that's the new swag. Swag of the food said I hate it. I know I'm not the only one. Oh, okay, cool. No, they said nothing wrong with the sound. Yeah, I know I'm not the only one, man. Like, yeah, I feel like when you wear a suit, you supposed to, get clean with it. All the tennis shoes, and then if you wear tennis shoes with a suit, you supposed to wear those canvas tennis shoes. I think they call canvas shoes. You're supposed to wear those. You're not supposed to wear actual like tennis shoes, sneakers. I hate when they do that. Or you can wear some nice loafers, you know. But I just hate the tennis shoe and suit thing. I hate that. I can't stand it. Well, look at Skip and Shannon. They wear tennis shoes, but they're on TV. They have straight head shots of them on TV, so you'll never see their feet. You know what I'm saying? But like when you're at a media event like that, you're gonna have cameras everywhere. Y'all taking full body pictures. So it's like I'm not with the tennis shoe thing. That's just me. That's just my opinion. Most dress shoes are horrible to our feet. Ambitious Hustle says swag, but we not in the 50s no more. The swag has evolved. You gotta have sneakers in case you got a hoop. Man, I'm an 80s baby. You know what I'm saying? So, like, come on. I just feel like when I wear a suit, I'm always gonna have a tie, a bow tie on, and I'm always gonna have some loafers or some dress shoes. I'm not wearing tennis shoes. That's just me though. Gramming wrong for that, bro. Bishop Dunn one suits. Y'all funny. Did QB1 have too much jewelry on? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like that neither. I don't like I feel like there will come a time when that's cool. I feel like all the jury is cool, but wait till his junior or senior year when he's getting ready to go to the NFL for that. That's just my opinion, but I know it's prime son and he's gonna do what he does. You know, he's gonna shine like that. That's just what it is. But I don't know. I'm not feeling the jury like that. That's just me. But I know it's part of his personality though. But me personally, I just wish he would wait until that draft is around the corner for that. And plus, I don't want him to be a target for any kind of haters. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not in Atlanta, where people are, always flossing like that. So I just, like I said, we just stay prayed up, and I'm pretty sure everything will be cool, and he knows how to move. But I just get uncomfortable when I see that. I just get uncomfortable for the young kid when I see that. But I just think he should wait. He was shining. I can't hate that. Nothing I can't afford. Yeah, I love it. I love the look of it. I like that he has that persona like his dad, but I just don't want people to hate on him. And I don't want that to bring negativity towards him or the program. But he's clean though. He's doing what he does. Somebody else asked me something. Hold on, let me go scroll up. So, do you all know what the NCAA committee is voting on the third? Seems like a lot is riding on that. I heard that they're trying to take away that rule, that transfer rule, where they're talking about that it's not going to be a rule against you won't have to sit out when you transfer. And I think that is a reaction to what's going on in the landscape of college football. And that's only going to benefit the top programs. Think about it. If you're at a school and you can transfer right away and then play right away, what's going to keep these kids loyal to those schools? The only reason why a lot of these kids stay at those schools are because they might have to sit out for a little while. If you're just letting people just transfer all willy-nilly, you're gonna have some people playing for a school each year. I know I would if I was a 5-star quarterback or something like that. I'm going to the highest bidder. I'm going to the highest bidder if I want to go the Power 5 route. I'm going to the highest bidder, and then if I change my mind, if I don't like things, I'm going to another school the next year. You don't want that to happen. You don't want people being like, these NBA players that's going wherever they want to go. You don't want that. You don't have to sit out now. That rule is over, or did that end with COVID? I think when you're going from FBS to FBS, you have to sit out, Steven, if I'm not mistaken. I think when you go from FCS to FBS, you can play right away. And when you go from FBS to FCS, you can play right away. But I think if you're transferring on the same level, on the FBS level, then you have to sit out. Akil good. He in the SWAC record book. Shedeur won't catch him. I hope Akil gets with the XFL. I haven't heard anything about him making it yet. I've seen a lot of other guys post that they made the draft pool. I haven't heard anything about Akil yet. So I'm really hoping that he makes the XFL squad so I can watch him play, because I really want to see him play. But I'm gonna open up the phone line so y'all can call in. I'm gonna have Mr. Ford call in a little later. Hold on a second. Give me just a second. JSU ruined the kill chances for the NFL. Oh, so you said FCS to FBS have to sit out a year. No, because the receiver from Pitt is playing immediately at the QB that follow Lincoln Riley can play at USC. Let me look that up. Hold on, y'all. Let me look it up so I can make sure I'm giving y'all the right information. Transfer rules. Yeah, you don't have to sit out. Yeah, I think that rule changed during COVID, or those kids can get some type of waiver. Yeah, I know you can ask for a waiver. So they may have changed it due to COVID, but I know when what I'm seeing on the internet is saying that all student athletes who transfer are required to sit out for one full sports season of competition. You are allowed to attend practice and game, but you cannot participate until that year is over. So they may have changed it though. Yeah, Pitt coach was pissed. I heard Blue Bloods was there interviewing at the SWAC Media day. I heard it's kind of I was good with that season. You wouldn't thought maybe Blue Bloods would have been at SEC. Yeah, that's dope for them, man. I try to go to the SWAC Media Day next year. I had business that I had to take care of this year, so I couldn't go. But yeah, it looked like a dope event. Yeah, and I heard about Oscar being at SEC Media Day. Congratulations to them though. Yeah, that's an old rule. Okay, so they might have changed it. They might have changed it, y'all. USC paid big money for that wide receiver from Pitt. Like if the students are being racist to you, you can get some type of hardship waiver and transfer play immediately. But then they go to another racist school. Man, like I tell you, man, I don't understand it. It just seems to me if I'm a parent and I have a kid, I'm sending them to a HBCU. And I'm not saying that because I went to a HBCU. If I have a talented kid, he's a 5-star kid. He is a superstar and he has all this cachet. I want him to be that big fish in a small pond. I want him getting all the attention. I want him getting all the attention. I want him being that big fish in a small pond. And I want him to be legendary. I want him to be remembered for a while. When you go, you just a 4-star player and you going to a power 5, like that's nothing. Like they gonna give you some followers, they gonna shout your name out for like a week or two, and then that's it. It's not gonna be nothing else after that. And you might not even get a chance to play because guess what? They constantly bringing those type of caliber players in every year. Mo Carter said you don't have to sit out anymore. The rule was changed in April of 2021. For example, Eli Ricks was at LSU last season. He transferred to Alabama in the spring and will start for Alabama this fall. Okay, so they changed the rule. I knew that it was something like that in the past. Finisher says, Swag Buds, you have no idea what it is like to be the big fish at a big school. They're treated like guys and get all of the perks. No one on the LCS can compare to that. Man, let me tell you something. I know a lot of D1 athletes, man. I know a lot of guys that play Power Five, and they tell me the same thing. A lot of them say they wish they would have went to a HBCU. They say at the end of the day, yeah, you get all that stuff. You get, you have a nice weight room, nice everything, but it's a different vibe when you're at a HBCU, being around your people, getting love from your people. It's just a different vibe. Why you think James Houston been saying what he's been saying? He went to Florida. They have some of the best equipment in the country, but he loved the experience that he got at a HBCU. Yeah, so I don't like the fact that you can go to a division rival immediately though. But yeah, I got the call lines open now. If y'all want to call in 657-390-4814. You want to talk about SWAC Media today, talk about what you like, what you didn't like, talk about anything y'all want to talk about. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Mr. Ford, if you're on, you can call now. That's fine. You can call now. At big schools, they only love you for what you can do for them. It's not real. Right. If these 4 or 5 stars are treated like guys, why are they tearing up their transfer portal? Right. Because they're getting made promises that's not being kept when they go to these campuses. That's what it is. You know, you already hearing about the NIL. They're getting promised these deals and they're not getting the money. Now they're starting a players union. Big Ten players are starting a players union so they can get some of that money that that the conference is about to get from that TV deal. Buzz, did you see walkthrough on the pregame? No, I haven't seen that yet. Tavion Galloway, yeah, he's going to LSU. I thought he was gonna pick Jackson State because of Coach Brewster, but he's going to LSU because the 4 and 5 stars are being replaced by kids who want to work harder. Only reason Davis didn't start at Auburn is because of politics. One would have thought it have been the other way around. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button so we get the stream out. Let's try to get to 100 likes. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We making rattlesnake boots on 24. It will start from there. Man, I cannot wait to see that FAMU versus Jackson State game, man. That's gonna be one for the ages. He spoke about the SEC in his commitment video. I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch his commitment video because I kind of figured, like these other guys done burned me, so I'm not even studying these commitment videos no more. The guy that went to Clemson, he burned me. I just knew he was about to pick Jackson State. They doing the swag surf. They doing everything in the video. I just knew we had us one. And he came out picking Clemson, so he done burned me. I'm not studying none of those commitment videos no more. All right, hold on. Got a call coming in. What's going on? Call you live.
Mr. Ford. Hold on 1 second. Hey, can you hear me? This is Mr. Ford.
Yeah, I can hear you, Mr. Ford. Let me make sure everybody else in the chat can hear you.
Okay.
Can y'all hear Mr. Ford?
All right.
Let me make sure they can hear you first, Mr. Ford. Okay, they can hear you, Mr. Ford. Go ahead.
Okay, yes. First and foremost, I want to give my condolences to the Jackson State family. One of their former catchers, I believe, passed away last week. I saw it. It came across my phone. I don't have his name on me right now, but I saw where he had passed last week, so I wanted to give my condolences to the Jack. He was a former catcher and a baseball player at Jackson State, and I wanted to give my condolences to the Jackson State family on that.
Condolences to him.
First, listen, guys. I really enjoyed that SWAC Media Day. Now, I heard a lot of complaints about it and all that, and I said that's why I really wanted to watch it, because I saw I heard it wasn't this, and it was, man, let me tell you the highlight for me. The highlight for me, I don't know if you remember SWAC Buzz, was a guy named Charlie Neal. It was just so good to see. And do you know he's going to be doing SWAC games this fall? Do you remember Charlie Neal from BET?
Charlie Neal from BET.
He's from way back now. This guy was big in the late 70s, early 80s. He started out doing BET games with a guy named Lem Barney. Then from Lem Barney, he went to was Doug Williams. After Doug retired from the NFL, Doug was his color man.
Okay, yeah, I seen him on
brought.
a lot of videos.
You seen him?
Yeah, I seen him.
Yeah,
this
listen,
past week.
he was at the SWAC Media Day. But listen, you know that thing you was telling me about, that SWAC Go Pass? What's it called? Is that the right thing?
HBCU Go.
HBCU Go. He's doing like 10 or 11 games. His first game
Hold on, Mr.
is
Ford.
Florida.
Mr. Ford, hold on. Hey, one of my mods in the chat. Can y'all get that bot out of here? Make sure y'all get that bot out of here, please. All right, go ahead, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, his first game is Albany State versus Florida A&M at Bragg Stadium in Tallahassee. I want to say September the 10th. He was talking about that. But he goes way back. This guy is the GOAT of black media when it comes to announcers and all that. This guy was awesome, man. He's from way back in the day. Now, one time he left BET and went with TNT, stayed with he was this is when TNT was doing NBA basketball. And it came down to him and a guy named Craig Sager. Craig is now deceased, but they chose Craig Sager, and he came back to BET. But I hadn't seen him in a while, and it was just so good to see him the other day. And I got to get that, what you say, it's HBCU Go Pass?
Yeah,
I got to get
HBCU
that
Go.
because Charlie's going to be doing games on there. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. What
yeah,
else?
He's going to be awesome.
What other highlights
did
you like from SWAC Media Day?
Oh, man, it was so many good things, man. Let me just tell y'all something. Now, y'all can say what y'all want. The most dangerous and the most the underdog of this whole thing is going to be Alabama A&M, and let me tell you why. Did you see how humble Cardinal Maynard was?
Yeah, I seen that.
See, the scriptures tell you when a man is humble, God is going to bless him.
Mm-hmm.
And that man was very, very humble. I've been knowing Cornell for a long time. Cornell was very, very humble. That's not him. And I know for a fact, when you humble like that, that's when you get your blessing. They better watch Cardinal Maynard. They better watch Cardinal Maynard. I'm telling you now.
I actually like his trash talking personality though. I thought it was good for the conference.
I like his coaches.
Yeah, I liked his personality, and I don't know if he's on Twitter. Like, he did not really active on Twitter, but he will be an awesome personality for social media and Twitter if he really wanted to be that. But I think that he wants to, like, be super professional, and because he's a coach, he doesn't want to go that route. But I would love it, and I think he would be really entertaining for the conference.
Oh, hey man, listen, I feel like he was embarrassed last year with that whooping Jackson State put on there. And you got to remember, Jackson State put that on him at his homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest crowd they had the whole year. And they put a 60 burger on him? What, they put 60 points on him?
Yeah, 61.
In front of all them people. So that man went and totally rebuilt his program. And I'm telling y'all, I can't wait to see them play. I want to see them play. If they give UAB a half, if they stick in that game with UAB for a half, the SWAC better watch out.
Mm.
SWAC, I'm telling you now, because now let me tell you something. A lot of us don't keep up with Group of 5 football and all of that. I do.
Yeah.
UAB under Bill Clark, that was a program that was on the up. Bill Clark, he had to resign because he's got some health problems. Bill Clark is a guy who was in the Group of 5, but he can coach in the Power 5. And let me tell you this, I've been telling people, I saw the second person today that can bring Florida State back. The first one is a guy named Bobby Petrino. Now, he got a ugly resume, okay, but the guy is an offensive genius. He can bring Florida State back. The second one is a guy named Bob Stoops. If they can get Bob Stoops to come out of retirement, listen, them two guys right there bring Florida back.
Isn't Stoops
like
one of those?
But I'm just saying, them people, those of you in here, this call that keep up with Florida State, there's two people can bring y'all back that I know of. At one time, I had said Narduzzi, the coach at Pitt, but Pitt threw a lot of money at him. They got him signed for a number of years. I don't know if it's as sweet as the one you saw the contract Georgia gave Kirby Smart. Did you see that contract?
I haven't even looked. But I
Oh,
thought Bob
like
Stoops was
they
coaching
throw
one of
some
these
money.
spring leagues. He
Huh?
not. I said Bob Stoops not coaching one of these spring leagues. I thought he was
Yeah,
coaching
that's where I saw him at. He was in
XFL
a
or something
spring
like that.
league, and I said, you know what? That's the guy right there. Bring Florida State back, because
Yeah.
that guy that they got, that Mike Norvell, that guy's in over his head.
Mm.
He's in over his head. They might get rid of him during the season.
So a lot of people's talking about Grambling. What do you thought about? What do you think about their suits? I
the
personally.
biggest news that came. Listen, let me tell you something. The biggest news that I heard at that SWAC Media Day was when he said he gonna call the plays, because that dude right there.
Who you
What
talking
you
about?
talking about? Hugh Jackson.
Oh,
You know,
Hugh
Hugh has
Jackson.
decided
Oh, okay.
he's gonna call the play.
Oh, okay.
Listen, you talking about one of the best in the business, baby. You talking about one of the best in the. You can call some plays now. Now I keep telling y'all, I ain't but one thing wrong with Grambling, and that is they got to play that. They got to find that quarterback. I still say the quarterback is that kid from Texas, that Chance, whatever his name is. That's the quarterback for Grambling. That guy is electrifying. That kid is electrifying, man. I looked at them highlights. He went to play for Dino Babers first at Syracuse. He stayed at Syracuse maybe a year. He transferred to a couple of junior colleges down in Texas. But now he has signed with Grambling. That dude is electric, man.
Stephen Wright. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm reading the comments. So, Mr. Ford, you know what? You know what? You know what? That Grambling player, I can't remember his name, but he was talking.
Which one?
He was doing an interview. I think he's on the offensive side of the ball. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, they have an offensive lineman there.
Oh yeah. So I think he was saying that, you know, Grambling, this is our conference. We run the SWAC. This is our conference.
We the historical.
Yeah.
Because that's what they tell you once
and
you
so
come to
I like that confidence from him, and I like what they bringing. I like what they're bringing this year. So
listen, let me tell you something. If that thing, if they get that right quarterback, they gonna fight for the SWAC championship. Because I saw the defense in the spring. The defense is there. I ain't even worried. Cedric Thornton does a great job. I had tremendous respect for Cedric when he was at Alcorn. I ain't worried about the defense. The only problem I saw with Grambling was I initially thought that Halloween was the answer, but I think it's that Chance guy, that quarterback that came in and he came in June. That guy right there, to me, that's the answer to Grambling's problem. That boy is electric. He's about 6'4", 6'5". He runs like a wide receiver. He runs like a 4.3, 4.4. He can fly, and he can throw the football.
Yeah. What you think about Alcorn?
But I'm just telling y'all, when they hook that thing up, when that Grambling offense is humming, baby, it's gonna be a sight to see. It's gonna be a pretty thing. Because let me tell you something, Hugh is just as far as play calling. Hugh is just as good as Dooley. Now, a lot of people don't know that Dooley is a hell of a play caller.
Ruby,
Eric
you don't
Dooley
agree?
Is a great play down at Southern. He's a great play caller. And that's what I'm waiting to see about this young boy, Brett Bartolome at Jackson. I want to see his play calling, his continuity, how he utilizes everybody. That's what I'm waiting to see.
What you think about Alcorn, Mr. Ford?
They hungry, man. They feel disrespected.
I kind of got that vibe from them too. Like they feel like everybody's sleeping on us.
Man. See, let me tell you something. Once again, I told the story about North Carolina A&T. There's also a story. See, before Deion Sanders came to Jackson State, the toast of the SWAC for about the 4 years prior to Deion coming was none other than Alcorn State. It started with Jay Hobson, and then it went through Fred McNair. They won that SWAC East, I think, about 6 years in a row, and then they won the SWAC a number of years. They came to the Celebration Bowl 3 times. The first year they came, they ran into that boy Tariq Cohen, and he ran for about 295 yards on them, and then got drafted by the Chicago Bears. The second time, I thought they got cheated out of that game because that boy caught that ball, and they said that he was juggling the ball, and they didn't rule it a touchdown. Because I felt like that second time they came to the Celebration Bowl, that game was taken from them.
Yeah.
That third time was a blowout. North Carolina A&T blew them out. They blew them out. But I'm just telling you now, Alcorn is hungry. They're hungry. They feel disrespected. The state has been taken from them. Prior to Dion coming, the state of Mississippi belonged to Alcorn, and now Jackson State is taking it. So they are like a scoring team. You better watch them.
Yeah.
You better watch them. Now,
I don't know what's going on.
In the past, Alcorn's biggest problem was their front people were too small. The front four, the front three that they were running were too small. Now, Cedric's good. I know. I remember when Cedric was with Jay Hobson. He was a defensive backfield coach, and he's well known in the junior college ranks in Mississippi. Now, that's a good addition. But I'm just saying, Alcorn feels disrespected.
So, Jack Boy said, Mr. Ford, what you think about Demetrius Davis?
I think he's going to be the 5. The biggest question mark is not going to be Demetrius Davis. It's going to be that offensive coordinator, Harry Williams. Does he know how to groom this kid for the NFL, and can he win? Because I'm telling you, they are loaded with players at Alabama State. Okay, I'm not worried about that defense because there's a lot of people on that staff that know defense, and defense is easier to do than offense. But the key for Alabama State is that new offensive coordinator, Harry Williams. Just like the key down there at Southern is not about no Eric Dooley in that offense. That offense is going home. Okay? The thing is, can this guy, Henry Miller, produce a championship-style defense? He got all the players he needs. He just has never impressed me. I remember him at Alcorn, and my thing. Now, that last year he was at Alcorn, this past year to me was his best defense. But can this Henry Miller produce a championship defense? Now, if he can produce a championship defense, baby, it's going to be some good times down there in Baton Rouge now.
Mr. Ford. So with the commissioner, did he say anything that makes you feel comfortable about the direction of the SWAC going forward? Did you hear what he said?
Let me just say this. I'm biased toward him because I like Dr. McClellan a lot. I've told you this over and over. I would like to see all of the black conferences combined under his leadership.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be biased.
Coach Prime said that too.
I feel good about him and everything he said. I mean, a lot of the stuff he said is obvious. Like he said, this is gonna be we thought last year's attendance was gonna be great. You wait till this year. I agree. You see them games they got. Listen, when Grambling comes to Jackson to play Jackson State, don't be surprised if that's a sellout. That's Jackson's home opener. Wait a minute, see. Okay, Jackson opens up with Florida A&M.
Yeah.
The following week they go to Memphis.
And then
the third week they come home to play Graham. Don't be surprised if that's a sellout.
Yeah, I expect it to be a sellout. I think
So what they're saying is there's a chance instead of averaging 42, Jackson could average 50. They could have you got you already know homecoming. We ain't even got to talk about homecoming. You know homecoming's gonna be 60,000 or more. You already know it. Okay. You got Southern coming to Jackson, Mississippi. You already know what that's gonna be.
Yeah. Crazy.
And don't let both of them be winning.
Yeah. I make sure I go to that game almost every year. I go to that game every year. That's
what I'm saying.
Southern versus Jackson State, by far my favorite game.
I tell everybody, that is one of the biggest rivalries in America. Not no FCS, not no SWAC. That's one of the biggest games in the United States.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And then, homecoming is going to be crazy. I think they can average
that's going to be a sellout.
50K to 55.
You got what everybody wants. They got a PWI coming to Jackson, and it's on their homecoming. That could be a sellout. That game could be sold out before Friday.
So, Coach Prime talked a lot about the parking and the gate.
Yeah, they got to get the logistics together. They got to get them.
Now, I don't know how they're going to
do is you're supposed to bring in them engineers. That's a form of engineering. And you deal with the traffic. You deal with the outlay of the station. Now, he was complaining about it's one way in the stadium or something. Now, that is ridiculous now.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah,
They got to get that straight.
they need to open up multiple gates around the
Yeah.
campus.
But
around
see,
the stadium.
that's a major. It's called urban planning. Okay, what they're supposed to do, either Jackson can do it or the conference can do it. You pay for a logistics engineer to come in and work that out.
Yeah. Now I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna fix the parking though. The parking, that's gonna be a challenge unless they build structures. Because I know the hospital is not gonna let them use their facility to house parking.
It can be worked out. Now, what they do here in Atlanta a lot, and I know you know about this, they park away from the stadium, and then they have buses or trains to bring them to the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things they're gonna have to look at is have them park somewhere, and then buses go and pick them up and bring them to the stadium, and then take them back to their cars. But see, all of that's logistics.
Okay.
All you got to do is have one of them logistics engineers from UPS. They got a million of them. That's why UPS is so efficient. They got all them logistics engineers. I had a parent was making about $200,000. What he would do is plot. They gave him the grid of Atlanta, and he would plot how them UPS, how do you get to the place the quickest and all that. They was paying that dude almost $250,000 for that.
Oh wow! I got a call. Let me get this call on, Miss Ford. Let me get this call on.
Okay.
What's going on, Caller? You live? Talk to me. Caller, you live? Talk to me.
This is Drusilla.
Hey, Drusilla, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Doing great.
Hey, how you doing?
I am well.
What you got for me tonight?
Can you guys hear? Yes. What I want to go back to is the guys not giving the HBCUs an opportunity. And what I would like to say is that I've worked in 2 towns where there were not a lot of people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say I miss my people, I actually ask them, where are the black people in these towns? And one was in Tennessee, and another was a part of Orlando, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something: there is nothing like the black experience that somebody understands and knows, what you're going through, what you're dealing with, as opposed to other people. They can say they understand, but you have to live in my life and know my understanding and my experience to understand me. So I'm hoping that our young men and women will give the HBCUs, whether it's Jackson State, of course I hope it is Jackson State, and it may not be, but any HBCU, they can get that experience that only you can get at HBCU.
Yeah, I think what the issue is that you have these Power 5 schools that are offering money to these parents, and they just going with the money, and so it's gonna be hard for us to beat that. But we have to really play into our culture and what the experience that they would get coming to a HBCU. What else you wanted to say?
Yeah, once they go, a lot of times, this to be when they go to the Power 5, they sit on the bench.
Right, that's true.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
And they think that, okay, I'm going to go to the Power 5, I'm going to be playing. They don't get the real story.
And not only do they sit on the bench, they get replaced the next year. That coach goes out and gets somebody else.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And I just feel so sorry for them if they would only give our people, their people, a chance, and the atmosphere, everything will be so much and better for them. But again, we've been taught that this is better, and you're going to get a better opportunity to go pro if you go here. as opposed to at HBCU. And it's been embedded in their minds from since they were younger. It's hard to get them away from that.
Yeah, that propaganda is strong now. Yeah. That propaganda is very strong.
I appreciate the call, Drusilla. I got other callers, so I'm gonna get them on. I thank you for calling.
All
right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let me get the next person. What's going on, Carly Live? Talk to me.
Hey, SWAC Buzz. Hey, Mr. Ford, how you guys doing? It's Chris.
How you doing?
What's going on, Chris?
Doing good. So now, I have a two-part question, Brother SWAC Buzz and Mr. Ford. The first question is this: I have a buddy who lives out there in Jackson. I think it's called the Reservoir, or is that Raymond, or is that Madison? Which one is that? Where the Reservoir is?
That's out there in Ridgeland.
Okay, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what he told me, and I heard you guys say right now about bringing in the infrastructure because of the size of homecoming. Now, what he told me was, I guess the fire marshal had approached the AD or Coach Prime like a day later, asking this year's homecoming if they could have roughly between 1,000 to 2,000 less people inside of the vet because of like you said, the exits and things like that. It could be a fire hazard in case like a fire break out for everybody's safety. So therefore, I think they were going to try. I thought he told me they were going to try and do more things outside of the vet. That way they could help parking. But my question is, I heard one of you guys say 60,000 people this year at homecoming, but I thought the fire marshal had basically said, let's not do that. Let's try and have a little bit less because of the safety of everybody inside the vet and the people immediately outside the vet. Did you guys see the same thing too, SWAC Buzz and Mr. Ford, or what y'all know about that?
I haven't heard anything like that. I know one issue that they was having last year was one section is closed off because I heard that some of the bleachers are broken and they need to be repaired. So they had this section cut off. That became an issue because like when I was at the Alcorn games, some of the people they pulled the tarp up and started sitting down, and the guy on the radio on the loudspeaker, he had to tell them, hey, that area is not for seating. Y'all need to go somewhere else or stand up or go somewhere else and find a seat and put the tarp back down. So they had to do that. But I haven't heard anything like that. And I know that's something Jackson State probably wouldn't want to go for. They probably want as much money as they can get and want as many fans as they can get. They probably want to pack that out. So I haven't heard
that. So now, SWAC Buzz, now here's where Mr. Ford come in at. In some of these college towns and in these pro towns, they have like that. You pay, you buy the ticket, right? But you got that big old screen outside to watch the game and have sitting outside. If I know Coach Prime the way I think I do, SB and Mr. Ford, I think he'll take that. I think he'll take 1,000 to 2,000 less ticket money for the safety of the people in the bigger picture.
Now he kind of addressed that at the SWAC Media Day because he's saying that there were certain people that were coming and tailgating, but they weren't coming in the game. And what he said at SWAC Media Day was, if you come and tailgate, you're going to pay for a ticket. So it's not going to be where you just can come and tailgate. If you come and tailgate, you automatically have to pay for a ticket. Now, that's what you just talked about the big screens at the game. Now, that's what Jerry Jones does at Jerry's World. You know that, right? They have big
that's what most of them do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he does at Jerry's World.
Yeah.
I went to.
I don't know. This has been a few years ago. I had a friend. They went to the game. The Falcons went out and played the Dallas Cowboys. He told me I think parking was like $100.
Yeah, like I told you guys once before, SB and Mr. Ford, I take my son to Prairie View Homecoming, and I know for a fact that those guys there who tailgate, they have to pay for their parking.
Yeah.
SWAC Buzz, do I got time to ask the next question? Do you want to call back in to respect the next caller?
Go ahead and ask. I do have a call on hold, but go ahead and ask your question. Go ahead. Try to make it quick though.
Okay. Coach Prime was the other two-part question is Coach Prime had said something the other day that I was kind of disagreement with.
Mm-hmm.
He said, as I look right now, everybody on the offensive line is going to be, a little bit, replaced the way it looks right now. Well, guys, I felt that one kid, the kid who transferred in from that Division I school, I think he was the offensive tackle last year on Shedeur's blind side. Was it 74?
Tony Gray.
Gray. Now, me personally Tony Gray. Thanks, Mr. Ford. Now, me, SWAC Buzz, I think out of 5 offensive linemen, I think that he should be the one who actually is a stick and stay, because I kind of felt that the young man played good. So I don't see a reason to replace that offensive lineman. I thought Tony Gray, played pretty solid, guys.
Now, my problem was I thought he was out of position. He did not strike me as a tackle. I saw him as a guard. I saw him more as a strong side guard, because we always felt when I was coaching football, the weak side, first of all, the strong side for us was always the right side. The left side, we call that the weak side. But we always wanted the best athletic people on the weak side, and we want the strongest offensive players on the right side. To me, he was more of a right guard. He was not a tackle.
Yeah.
Now,
he played right guard, didn't he? He played right guard at his last college, right?
Left tackle. He played left tackle.
Right. I'm talking at his last college. He played right guard. Jackson State moved him left tackle, right?
You know what? I didn't see him at UCF. I know you're right.
Yeah,
he did transfer from UCF.
Yeah, I didn't watch him at UCF
I'd have to go back
either.
and look at the film, but he always struck me as a guard. I never saw him as a tackle.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah,
hey, SWAC Buzz, I thank you, man. Let me. I'm gonna hang up and I'll call back in for my last question to respect the next call. Is that cool, guys?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me get the next person. Hold on. What's going on, Carly Live? Talk to me. Hello, Carly Live. Talk to me.
Yo, what's up, SWAC?
What's going on?
What's up, SWAC? This is Bridges. This is Bridges on top, man.
Oh, what's going on?
What's up, man? This is my first time calling in. What y'all think about like SWAC Media Day? I think it, like, for me, and this for you too, Mr. Ford, I think it could have been like a bigger event. Like, they could have really made like fans come in, just like the SEC Media Day. They could have had like a whole bunch of stuff going on in the tail end of it. And like, I just think they could have just had it like more of a HBCU feel to it. I mean, I love the coaches and the students come, but also let the fans come in, let have some little like a pep band or something, or something that just have the HBCU feeling to it, just like how SEC has a feeling to it. What y'all think about that idea?
You want me to go, SWAC? SWAC?
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, and I agree with you totally. Now, I enjoyed the press conference, but I know that can always be improvement. I heard some people saying that it should have been 2 days, but it's basically incumbent upon the conference to determine how much money you're going to spend. Okay? Some people said it could have, like the ideas you had, some people said it should have gone 2 days, 1 day SWAC East, 1 day SWAC West. All right? But I know that anything you do can always be improved upon. Now, you know where it was at this, I think that was Friday. So next year we want to see a better one. So that's what we want, the improvement of next year. We want to see a better one. Because I'll be honest with you, I heard a lot of complaining about it, but I felt good about it. I did, but I'm like you. I know that anything can be made better.
Yeah. Along with that, I would like them to do something like a party or a banquet type thing for like the media, the fans, and their family or whatever to come to. I think that would bring a lot more excitement to it. Make it a 3-day event, and then on one of those days,
that means the SWAC got to spend some money.
Yeah, well,
Dr. McClellan and them got to spend some money.
You'll make some money though, because you can sell tickets. You can sell tickets to that.
Yeah, about to say, if you sell tickets and sell the events and stuff, that will like kind of offset the money of what you spending of your overhead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know what? Did they ever celebrate the SWAC's 100th anniversary? They never had that celebration for that, did they? Did they? Because it was originally scheduled for Atlanta, but of course Atlanta was shut down then. Did they ever celebrate the 100th anniversary of the SWAC? Did somebody in the chat tell me, did they celebrate that?
I'm not sure.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you're right. They could have done that. They could have celebrated the 100th anniversary, like you said, had a banquet or a luncheon or whatever, and had people to pay. People would have paid for that.
Yeah.
Because that, man, the SWAC was, what did it? It turned 100 years old in 2020, right?
Drizzy said no because of COVID.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said, well, Drizzy said no because of COVID. He said because of pandemic.
That's what I thought, because it was scheduled for Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think supposed to be in Atlanta, but they still need to do that. Because the fact that they have made 100 years, that is super. That's great.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I gotta say, SWAC.
I appreciate the call. Thank you. All right, let me get the next caller. All right. What's going on, Collie Live? Talk to me.
Hey, SWAC Buzz, it's me, Chris, calling back from Champlain, Texas. You, Mr. Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last statement / question is this: there's 205 people on this live right now, and I want everybody to hear this. And I wish my son was here, but he's not. Mr. Ford, you were not on the call yet. SWAC Buzz was basically saying something about how the guys were dressed on Media Day. I feel this, guys, and please, SWAC Buzz, I want you to weigh in, and Mr. Ford to really go deep with this. Jackson, Mississippi is the biggest city in Mississippi. Right. It's the capital.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Jackson State is the only, I believe, I know Albany State, yes, but it's not as big as Jackson State is a Division I AA, all this FBS, FCS. I know Division I and Division I AA. Okay, guys, it is a Division I AA powerhouse. I feel I like how Shedeur was dressed, but when you represent us on SWAC Media Day, when you are the QB1, and I tell my QB this at the school I coach at, you are an ambassador, number one. If you're a Christian, your Lord and Savior. If you're a Muslim, Allah, if you're Buddha, you get my point. You're ambassador for your faith, number one. Number two, your last name, your family. Number three, your school. In Shedeur's case, he's the ambassador of a whole city, for the fire marshal, for the mayor, for the dean, for the president, and I kind of felt that he was dripping a little bit too much. I would have loved to seen him in a nice tie with a simple chain up under it. I guess more 50 Cent dress than a Rick Ross video, if that makes sense. I love Shedeur. I know his dad is prime time. I get it. But I know he's young because he really does not understand exactly what QB1 of Jackson State, the capital of that state, the main college, the main HBCU in that state, in the face of Jack. I don't really understand that he really get what that means, because he dressed, because he wore what he wore. Am I wrong, guys? I want you guys to weigh in on that for me.
Okay, SWAC, you want to go first?
I'll go first on this one. Like, he was dressed nice to me. Like I said, I don't really. Yeah. My opinion, I don't like tennis shoes with suits. That's just my personal opinion. I just don't like tennis shoes with suits. But as far as the chain go, it's okay for the media day. What I don't want him doing is going out like that in the city, and I don't want any kind of negative event to happen when you dripping like that, because you know everybody out here doesn't like to see you shine. So that's the only thing I was worried about. Like, I just hope he's strategic when he wears stuff like that. You have to be strategic out here. You just can't be and watch your surroundings. You just can't be out here like that, all willy-nilly. But at the SWAC event, it was okay. I understand some people want the traditional, you're a QB1, you're the CEO of a team, you want it to be uber professional, but we have to understand this new day and age that we're living in, and, this new generation, they like to drip, and it's a part of his personality. It's a part of his persona. I don't mind him doing it. It's just that I just want him to be strategic when he does it, so nothing bad would happen.
Well, let me say this. For me, it was like Back to the Future, because I remember when his dad first came to Atlanta in 1989 after leaving Florida State, and the only difference between how Shedeur was looking and how Deion was looking, Coach Prime was looking in 1989, Shedeur doesn't have a jerry curl. Back then, Deion had a jerry curl.
And it wasn't wet.
yeah, that was the basic. But now let me just say this.
Right.
I remember I used to, when I was coaching football, I had some guys that I was really crazy about, and I was so concerned about, because they used to wear their pants down. You know what I mean? And I would tell them, you can't do that. But let me tell you something. I didn't have to worry about that. These guys, a couple of them went to Albany State. They taught them how to dress at Albany State. I'm serious. When them guys came back from Albany State, I saw them like 3-4 years later. They knew how to dress. And like you said, they dressed corporate. They dressed, they knew, what was casual, when to wear it, what colors to wear. That's a part to me of going to college.
Yeah.
Because I know they taught us how, I went to Clark, I went to Grambling. They taught us how to dress. Eddie Robinson, he put a priority on teaching them kids when I was at Grambling on how to dress. But the other thing he taught them, he had the home economics people to come and teach them how to eat at a 5-star dinner. I witnessed that.
All right, let me get this next call.
That's a part of going to college. I think that, like you said, in the end, because like I'm telling you, the way that he was looking, that's how Deion looked when he looked just like his daddy. That's how Deion looked when he came to Atlanta in 1989. The only difference was that Deion had a jerry curl.
Yeah. Let me get this next call on. Hold on. What's going on, Caller? You live? Talk to me. What's going on, Caller? You live? Talk to me.
Hi, hey, SWAC Buzz. This is Yusuf from Phoenix. How are you?
Doing great.
How are you, Mr. Ford?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I have one question, and I agree with Dion on this. I don't know why Bethune-Cookman scheduled that game in Jacksonville, because, like he said, how many fans is Bethune going to bring? It's going to be a whole empty stadium, because I'm not sure if Jackson State fans is going to travel that far. And I think everyone's just trying to capitalize on Jackson State's crowd because, Alabama A&T and Jackson State is playing at a neutral site. So I think they're trying to, I don't know, they probably strapped for cash or something. So they think that Jackson State's 50,000 people is gonna be in that stadium. But if they're gonna change the venue, they should at least allow Jackson State to agree on it or not. Just want your take on that.
Yeah.
Okay, SWAC, you got it?
You go ahead. Ms. Ford.
Okay, now let me tell you, I disagree with Dion on that. I'm from South Georgia. My hometown is 35 miles from the Florida border. Okay, now, I've talked to some people in my hometown, and they've all said since the game, of course, they would not have gone to Daytona. But since it's in Jacksonville, because you got to remember, for me in South Georgia, the largest city, the closest largest city to me was not Atlanta. It was Jacksonville. And there are a lot of people in South Georgia who are now going to go to that game because it's in Jacksonville instead of in Daytona. I've had a chance to, now, that stadium used to be called the Gator Bowl. Now, I think one time it's called Altel Stadium. I'm not sure. Isn't it called TIAA Stadium now? What is it called now, SWAC?
TIAA Stadium.
Okay, let me tell you something. It is a beautiful stadium. I'm all for them kids playing in that stadium. I love the fact that them kids going to get a chance to play in an NFL stadium. But I think that he's underestimating those people in Florida in that South Georgia area. Because let me tell you something. I don't know if you heard Kirby Smart said at the SEC Media Day that he no longer wants the Georgia-Florida game in Jacksonville. The first thing I was thinking was, you don't even know your own history, Kirby Smart. The alumni in South Georgia put that game down there so that they could have a game to see the University of Georgia team. The people in South Georgia, that was their opportunity to see UGA's football team. That's why it's been in Florida that long. Okay?
Wow.
So I disagreed. I've talked to people here in Atlanta who are now saying that's one of the games they might go to because it's basically like a straight shot from here to Jacksonville. So I was for it. I thought it was good planning on the part of Bethune-Cookman to capitalize on his celebrity, on his fame, and I think he's going to be surprised at the number of people that come to that game. Because let me just tell you something.
But is Bethune-Cookman going to pay? Is Bethune-Cookman going to pay for the security and all of that?
That comes with the stadium price. Yeah, that's a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you rent the stadium, you're paying for security, you're paying for all of that. But let me just tell you something. If you ever get a chance, I've been to it. It's a beautiful stadium. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually be in a swimming pool in that stadium and watch the game.
What?
Yes, there's a swimming pool inside of that stadium. Somebody on here who's been in that stadium, would you please verify that TIA stadium? I think there's a swimming pool in there, and you can be in the swimming pool.
What, is that for the public or something?
Yeah, they have people swimming while the game is going. It's a beautiful stadium.
Oh wow, that's nice.
I was so happy when they announced that Jackson and Bethune was going to play in there because I'm considering going.
SWAC Buzz, are you going there?
It's all in the state, huh?
I'm not sure yet.
SWAC Buzz, are you going?
That'll be a game time decision for me. I'm not sure yet. Depends.
Okay.
I have made up my mind if I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm trying to pick the games that I'm gonna go, but we'll see. But I got other callers. Let me get to them. I appreciate you calling. Thank you for calling.
Okay.
All right.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right. What's going on, caller? You live? Talk to me.
Oh, what's going on, SWAC Buzz? Gabriel from Memphis. How's it going, Mr. Ford?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good. Hey, so I guess this is a question for both of y'all. Now earlier tonight, SWAC, you was talking about the SWAC commissioner was saying that he's going to turn this down. He's going to talking about the SWAC having pretty good budget for the for the athletic department 3 to 5 to 8 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it's going to be like one of the highest in the FCS, probably like one of the highest in the lower FBS.
Yeah.
Okay, so elaborate on that.
Well,
I'm saying that's what he said. Matter of fact, let me try. I'm gonna try
to repeat that. I'm sorry. Could you repeat what you were saying about that? Say that again for me.
I'm gonna try to get that clip for y'all.
Okay, now SWAC Buzz was saying that the SWAC commissioner was saying about between he said about 5 to 8 years from now, I guess the SWAC athletic conference of the SWAC should have one of the highest budget, in the FBS. And
listen, that's true. Let me tell you let me tell you what's going on. Look, and they're keeping this under wraps. There are 25 schools in the FBS that have signed a petition asking all Power 5 schools not to play any FCS schools. If that happens, yes, they got about 25 right now that's on board with it. If that happens, you're going to see a number of FCS conferences fold. And he's right. Wow. Yeah, because see, here's the thing, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. When I was in college, the Qs used to have a saying. The Qs used to say, if you ain't a Q, you ain't shit. Well, that's what the FBS is saying. The FBS is saying I'm sorry, not the FBS, but the Power 5 is saying if you ain't Power 5, you ain't shit. Because what the Power 5 is saying, they want to monopolize all the money in the Power 5 and bump everybody else. So he's absolutely correct with that. Because if they pass that rule and say that none of these FBS schools can play the FCS schools, you're going to see a number of them FCS conferences fold. Because a lot of them live off of the money that they receive from those Power 5 schools. You can look it up. They are saying right now that they want the Power 5 schools not to play any FCS school. It's 25 schools that signed that petition.
I'm gonna find a clip for y'all.
So he's right about that. If that goes through, let me tell you something. There's a money grab by the Power 5 right now. They're saying if you're not Power 5, they ain't got nothing for you.
Yeah, I heard about that, and that's gonna. I don't even understand why that's even a thing. I know Nick Saban. He said that they can't afford to do that because the money should trickle down to those smaller schools.
Yeah.
So he was against that.
Right.
There's a number of schools that have signed that petition, and they are trying to push that through with because see, the Power 5, I told you this about a couple of weeks. The Power 5 is basically getting ready to tell the NCAA to get the what on. And that guy, Greg Sankey, he's going to be the commissioner of Power 5 football. That's what it's getting ready to, because the Power 5, basically what they're doing, they're monopolizing all the money. Okay, see, like you talk about these, like somebody was talking about the Sun Belt. Now they don't care nothing about no Sun Belt. They don't care nothing about no Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina and what's that school? ULM. They don't care about them schools. Even though they Division I, they don't care nothing about them. And if they have to, they ain't gonna share no money with them. They, like I'm telling you, they're saying if you not Power 5, you don't matter.
Yeah, really, you're right. Because really, to tell you the truth, ULM, they really one step from going from FBS to FCS.
Yeah, listen, I'm telling you, I talk to people in the Sun Belt. They call ULM the ghetto of the Sun Belt. They don't have. They said that they spend the least amount of money, and then they talk about they got the worst facilities in the Sun Belt.
And then I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get on off of here. Coach Prime was talking about. They was asking him about playing teams in the FBS. Teams. Alabama, stuff like that. And he was saying this right here. He was saying, Jackson State's not ready for that right now. He said,
yeah, and I agree with him.
Right. He said, give him about one more year. He said, he was saying, it's not the like you say, the wide receivers, the corners, what they call
interior line.
Right, it's the interior line, the front, the
interior line,
offense and defense. Right.
Yeah.
Right. He said he get that together, then he'll be able to compete.
Yeah. See, when you're talking about Alabama offensive line, you're talking about an average of 6'6", 325.
Right.
Okay. If we got a guy 6'5" or 2 or 3 guys, we feel good. Their standard is if you ain't 6'6" or 6'5" or 6'7", they don't even look at you. You got that's got to be on paper about you that you 6'6", 6'5", and you 310, 320, 330. That's got to be, that's the prototype. If you don't make that on, if they can't write that on paper about you, they're not recruiting you. And Alabama's not the only one like that.
Because what Jackson State got, I know they got about, I know for a fact, I think like at least 3 guys that are like 6'6", 6'7", averaging 325 pounds a piece, and I think like 2 of them like Samoan.
Yeah. He said at the thing. There's a chance that nobody from last year will start on this new offensive line.
Right.
Yeah. They went out and they did a good job in bringing in some new people on that offensive line.
All right, y'all. Let me. I'm gonna play this clip for y'all. Give me one second. I'm gonna play this clip for y'all. This is Hold on, y'all. Let me 1 second. Let me cue it up.
All right.
want to make sure y'all can hear it first.
Doing
well, sir.
Can y'all hear this?
Thank you for being here.
Got lots
Okay.
of energy in the room. Let's talk about.
Let me fast forward. Now, he was interviewing with Roland Martin. Let me fast forward to the part where he talks about the money.
Not to put Eddie Robinson's business out there, but he got plenty of money. He didn't need to coach. He came back to his alma mater to give back. That star power, that name brand, Bubba McDowell, Houston great. I watched Bubba play a whole lot with Love Your Blues and Warren Moon. He's in the SWAC now. You look at the recruits that we have coming in. SWAC is a very vibrant league. We're very popular now. We've grown, we've expanded, and it's hats off to the coaches and the administrators that got it.
So how do you translate that into monetization economics?
Well, it's already been translated.
Here it is right here, y'all.
We've gone from being in deficit to clearing that deficit to having a robust reserve to having the largest distribution to our membership in the history. And
what is that?
Well, we distributed over $8.4 million to our membership this year. And with the addition of some of the deals that we've currently made, we're ranking now within the top 3 of all FCS. And within the next 7 years, we'll be number 1, and we would have outranked some FBS conferences. So it's growth. That money goes back to the membership. And that is why we're strong. And that is the reason why we're strong together as 12. And I would like to say this. At no point in history, in my opinion, that our league has been as solid and as strong as it's been. All 12 member institutions are on the same page. All 12 presidents are on the same page. And that's what makes a conference strong.
You have, obviously, your major conferences to talk about.
All right, so you heard what he said.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's what
You want me to comment on it?
Go ahead, Ms. Ford. You go ahead.
Now, the main thing I keep telling people is we leaving SWAC conference is leaving millions on the table because they're not doing a good job of branding and paraphernalia. That should be jerseys all over the country. Number 2, Shedeur Sanders. That should be jerseys all over the country. That kid's Alabama State jersey, that quarterback. Should be jerseys all over the country. Several of them kids from Jackson State. He's got to put more money into that branding and into the paraphernalia. They should be making more money off of, it's millions out there in paraphernalia. So he's right. And listen, if they put more into branding and paraphernalia, that's millions more coming into the SWAC. And I ain't going to even talk about it. I keep telling y'all, I think the SWAC needs to sell a highlight show to TBS or one of them cable channels. We need a highlight show every Sunday night of the previous Saturday games.
Right.
You can sell that.
Let me get this other call on. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
What's going on, Carly Live? Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, SWAC Buzz, man? This is Darius, man. This Pandy. I'm calling in from Orlando, Florida, man. What's going on?
Not much. How you doing tonight?
Doing all right. How you doing, Mr. Ford?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. So I had wanted to call in because I wanted to kind of talk about the reason why Jackson State and Bethune-Cookman are not playing in Daytona. And the reason why is because that's the same weekend as Biketoberfest, which is like a big, motorcycle event that happens in Daytona weekend.
Right.
And so the prices of hotels will be triple the amount as what you would normally have during that particular, that particular weekend.
Yeah, that's
so
what
that's
I heard.
Probably the reason why they moved it from Daytona to Jacksonville. Now, what I would have liked to have seen done, as an alternative, was probably see them play in Orlando. Maybe not at the the main stadium here.
World Camping.
The World Camping Stadium, or maybe at UC, maybe at UCF stadium, because UCF, they have a Thursday night game that week, so that stadium right there could have been like used on Saturday, but who knows what the finances and the logistics would have been in order to rent out that particular stadium, everything like that. So to everybody else, that's the reason
Daytona Beach. It's only seats 9,000. I mean, you bringing in Deion Sanders, like I said about 2 weeks ago. I thought it was a brilliant move. I'm disappointed that Texas Southern ain't taking Jackson State to NRG. I think that when Jackson State comes to Houston, they need to go to NRG. You are the premier #1 HBC football program in the nation. You don't need to be stuck up in no high school stadium. You need to be in the top facility. That's what everybody used to love about Eddie Robinson. When Eddie Robinson had Doug Williams, they took Doug Williams to Tokyo, Japan. I keep telling y'all, ain't nothing new under the sun. When Texas Southern should have been forward thinking like Bethune-Cookman and decided and paid for when Deion Sanders brings that team out to Houston, Texas, they go to NRG. I ain't got no problem with Bethune-Cookman going to Jacksonville. I tell you, I'm considering going because it's a straight shot. It's interstate all the way. I got people in South Georgia who I talked to. They said that they are going because you got to remember, the longest haul for us here in Atlanta is to get to Valdosta, Georgia. Once you get to Valdosta, Georgia, you like an hour and 20 minutes.
It's a straight shot. Yeah. A straight shot. The Florida. Jacksonville after that. Yeah. Because I got some friends that went to Valdosta State and they said, man, we go to Jacksonville all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought it was a brilliant move. I thought it was forward thinking because, like I said, why you gonna bring Deion Sanders? He got the #1 high school player for the 2022 class. Okay, his son is possibly one day gonna be a Heisman Trophy winner, and you want to bring him to that high school stadium in Daytona? No, take him to Jacksonville. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I think, though. Well, what about this as an alternative? Do you think that? And I'm pretty sure you might say no, Mr. Ford, but do you think it would have been a better idea for both Bethune-Cookman and Jackson State to meet in what's that stadium that the SWAC has rented out over there in Birmingham? I think it is Alabama.
Yeah.
Now
it's in Birmingham, Alabama.
Let me tell you what would have been great if Bethune-Cookman would have brought it to Atlanta. And that would have been a homecoming for Deion Sanders.
And see, I thought about that,
right? That would have been the idea to bring him to Atlanta, Georgia. You can play at Mercedes-Benz. You can play at Georgia State. You can even play at the Braves Stadium if they're on the road at that time. You can play at Georgia Tech. I mean,
I don't think Bethune would have did that.
Deion Sanders back to Atlanta.
I don't think they would have did that. I don't think Bethune would have went to Atlanta.
You don't think it would have worked in Atlanta?
I don't think they would have done that though. I don't think they want. They wouldn't want to travel. They probably wouldn't want to travel to Atlanta for the game.
Yeah, because it's nowhere from Daytona Beach to Jacksonville. It's got to be less than 100 miles, right?
Yeah. Like to go from Daytona to Jacksonville is like you probably looking at about like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I'm telling you, Jacksonville, the thing I'm telling y'all is you got to go to this stadium. Man, that stadium is awesome. And it's practically new.
And
I love the idea that our kids get a chance to play in a NFL stadium. Oh, man. But I think that those people are going to fool Deion about that attendance. I think they're going to fool him.
That'd be awesome if they did.
You know what, though, Mr. Ford? You are right. There is a pool inside of that stadium, too, as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And you can watch the game while you swim.
Yeah. Like, it's on the end zone part of...
Yeah.
It's on one of the end zones part. Like, you can sit in the actual pool and watch,
Listen, y'all should get on the internet right now and see all these UGA grads cursing out Kirby Smart talking about ending that game in Jacksonville. I'm talking about his own people that's talking about him and talking about how stupid he is and telling him you don't even know your own history. The UGA grads in South Georgia put that game in Jacksonville so it was an easy route for them to get there. I'm telling y'all, when I grew up in South Georgia, the closest city to me was not Atlanta. It was Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, yeah.
But thank you for the call. I got another call on. I'm going to get another call on. Thank you. Let me get this other call on, Mr. Ford. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
What's going on, Carly Live? Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Hey, Mr. Ford, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. So I got a quick question. I believe that Coach Prom briefly touched base on it at SWAC Media Day when he was talking about operational things, and he was just kind of giving line item situations. But I think one of the things he talked about briefly was housing. And, this is in a conversation about him as far as the alumni giving. What is, like, do you guys think we're, like, in a housing crisis with our HBCUs? And if so, like, what are some solutions? Because I know I saw an article with FAMU and how they're working with the city of Tallahassee when it comes to the real estate agents and things like that, trying to, provide some suitable housing. One of my buddies, he works for a company called American Campus. And again, what they do is they build student apartments at different PWIs and HBCUs. And for the first 3 years, they control the operations of it. And then for the 4th year, they turn over the property to the university. So I know, of course, on the front end, the university would be losing out on the room aspect. Of course, students can still get a meal plan, but they would still be increasing revenue by the additional students, paying tuition. So, like, in my opinion, as opposed to waiting for these state legislatures to approve us for like a $60 million dorm, which, in this day and time, it's kind of hard to get. I think on the front end, for the immediate need, I feel like student apartments would be like the best answer for a lot of our schools, and just follow that model that Prairie View has had, because they've been able to sustain their 10,000 enrollment over the last decade by, building all those student apartments around campus. So it's kind of want to get y'all's feedback.
Yeah. So I think.
Okay, now,
hold on.
Do you want to go first, SWAC? You want me to go?
Let me go for it. I'm gonna be real quick. So
Okay.
I think student apartments are great, and I think right now this boom for HBCUs, a lot of people didn't see this coming. A lot of people didn't see this coming, so we're having an influx of students going to HBCUs, which is a great thing. And so I think student apartments is a great thing for them to do. I know Jackson State has the Palisades around their campus, and that was like, apartment style dorm situation for them. So if a lot of HBCUs can build a lot of apartment complexes like that, they'll be in good shape. You can go ahead, Ms. Ford.
Well, one of the things you got to keep in mind now is this word called gentrification. Even though a lot of people used to pick at black schools and say, black schools are in the ghetto and all of that, guess what? White people want to live near those black colleges because most of those black colleges are in the center of town or in the what we would call downtown or uptown, and now they want that land. Okay. One of the things that has happened here in Atlanta, the government has basically deemed Atlanta unaffordable. They'll take a house now that's 2 to 3 bedrooms, built in the late 1950s, early 1960s, pre-pandemic. This house was worth like $150,000, $160,000. Today, it's worth $500,000. So you got to understand now that inflation, we're under hyperinflation, which means that everything is at the minimum. It's 25% higher than it was pre-pandemic. And so, but the thing that has really pushed this whole thing, this housing crisis, is this whole thing of gentrification. These people coming in and taking these black neighborhoods, okay? And that has hurt us. But the other thing y'all got to understand is that the tycoons on Wall Street right now, they are trying to collapse this economy because they're going back to that old, I don't know if y'all read about the President Bush and them. They want, when old man Bush was in, they wanted America to be like England. You were either royalty or a commoner. And see, what America had for many years that most countries didn't have, they had a middle class. These people are trying to completely destroy the middle class. They want you to either be super rich or poor. And so they're putting a lot of pressure, and it's coming from Wall Street. They're putting a lot of pressure on American society, collapsing these businesses. And so that's why I tell everybody now, this depression that we're getting ready to go into is going to be worse than the 30s. And a lot of people don't understand it because they're saying, well, we still doing this. And baby, just keep living. It's a depression coming. It's going to be the worst depression in the history of this country.
You got anything else for me, Jerome?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it's so crazy, man. Like in the early 2000s, you know, when I was at Jackson State, both us and A&T were kind of facing the same situation. President Mason at the time, he decided not to pull the trigger on it, but President Rennick at A&T decided to go ahead and basically, I don't want to say gentrify that hood area around A&T, but then essentially he did, bought up all that land, and that's how they were really able to expand their campus, you know, with the new buildings and new dorms and things like that. It's a big hot topic, or it'll be kind of like political suicide if Jackson State did that in the Washington Edition area. But in order for us to, you know, sustain high enrollment, because of course, you know, that generates revenue for the institution, we got to do something. And it's not just Jackson State; it's a lot of HBCUs facing this problem. But I feel like,
see, I think I said this to you before. With the attention that Jackson State's supposed to be the largest black HBCU. It shouldn't be North Carolina A&T. It should be Jackson State. Jackson State should have 13 to 15,000 students. And they got to do whatever. All this attention you got, all these kids know about you.
Yep.
You know they're coming to Jackson.
I agree.
Jackson State should have 13 to 15,000 students.
Let me say this real quick. Hey, y'all, let's hit the like button. You know, I'm not on here asking y'all for money. The likes are free. Please hit the like button so we can get the stream out to more people. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Go ahead. Y'all can finish up.
Oh, no, I totally agree, man. You know, I think that's one of the biggest issues why quite a few of our HBCUs have not grown over the years. It's just systematic racism by the state legislature by not, you know, funding as far as, you know.
Funding has always been our problem.
Because it's so crazy, man. I saw a video, you know, I'm a band head, and I watched a video of the Sonic Boom from 1990 where they played Southern, and the announcer, when the boom floated JSU up the field, he said, Jackson State enrollment, 6,600 some odd students. And I was like, wow, that's about the same as it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was 30 years ago. So I totally agree with you, Mr. Ford. We should definitely be at.
You're supposed to be the largest with the attention you get. Now, you know, there was a lot, you know, the other night we were talking, and a lot of people criticized me for trying to play up Dr. Carolyn Meyer. Like I tell people, I thought she did a great job. She just didn't know nothing about athletics. But one of her key goals was she wanted to make Jackson State the largest HBCU in the country. I didn't have no problem with that because I thought that's what they should have been.
Yeah,
and so,
they weren't about to go for that.
When she said that, I was for that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you, Mr. Ford, what did her in, man, when she started playing chess match with the IHL, because, you know, the IHL with that last round of money from the Ayers case, all three of our schools, we had to increase our enrollment by 10% non-black. And she went ahead, the way she did it was she went ahead and opened up a campus in downtown and in Madison. And we immediately got our money. And she was, you know, petitioning for new dorms and new chemistry. And she was just really putting a lot of pressure on the IHL, and they didn't like that because, you know, she got her undergrad from Howard, master's in doctoral from Georgia Tech. She moves at a different pace, and they just didn't like that. But I agree. She was aside from her bringing in that AD and, you know,
Vivian Fuller, she was awful.
Yeah.
Now, let me say this. One of the things she saw, and she was able to deal with them. See, she had the ear of Thad Cochran. She had the ear of Phil Bryant, but Thad Cochran died, and Phil Bryant went out to governor's house, and she was out there by herself.
Mm.
And that kind of led to her demise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this other call. Appreciate the call. Thank you, Jerome. All right. What's going on, colleague? You live? Talk to me. All right, you got time.
Hey, Mr. Ford, SWAC Buzz. I came back to the call. I had to step out for a minute. But the last thing I heard you guys say was, I guess Jackson State was the biggest, or trying to be the biggest HBCU in the country.
I said it should be.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Ford, when you say that, okay, there's two parts to that. I thought that Howard was number one, and number two, are you talking about as far as like
North Carolina A&T is the largest enrollment of any HBCU.
Okay, okay. You're talking enrollment. I don't know if you're talking about student population or game days. Okay, I came in kind of late. I just wanted
enrollment, school enrollment. North Carolina A&T is at 13,000, a little bit above 13,000. They are the largest HBCU in the country. I'm saying with all this attention Jackson State is getting, Jackson State should be the largest HBCU, and they should be working toward that.
I agree with that.
I can agree with that, Mr. Ford, on surface. The only thing I think, and this is just in a nutshell, like I said, guys, I came to the call kind of late. I got back on. I apologize. I think the reason why it may not be Mr. Ford, North Carolina A&T and Howard State Howard University sits right there in the DMV, and North Carolina is not that far from South Carolina, Virginia, and the whole DMV area, which is Jackson, Mississippi, is in the deep South. So as far as like the influx of out-of-state students may not be there, i.e. like a North Carolina A&T or a Howard, if that makes sense to you.
Let me tell you why I disagree with that. If you look at the flow chart right now, everybody is leaving the North and they're coming to southern states. They're coming to Mississippi.
Absolutely.
They coming to Texas. They coming to Georgia. They coming to Florida. They coming to North Carolina. They coming to South Carolina. Everybody, especially working class people, are leaving the North, especially New York. New York at one time was at 27 million. They're down to 19 million right now. Where are those people from New York going? They're going south. So it's no problem for the state to have 15,000.
Yeah, they're all migrating.
Okay, in the 20s, we had the Great Migration where everybody left the South and went north. Well, guys, it's reversed. Now everybody's leaving the North, coming south.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, so Mr. Ford, there
is a threat to that guy Kemp here in that gubernatorial race because of all these people who are moving from the north to the south.
Yeah, so Mr. Ford, they're all migrating to like Charlotte, Atlanta, Houston, New Orleans, Miami. But I think
the people who were in Chicago are now coming back home to Mississippi. The people who were in Detroit are coming back to Birmingham and to Atlanta and all these other southern places. I'm telling you, it's a reverse migration. They're coming from the north to the south. That's why I say it should be no reason that Jackson State should be the largest HBCU in the country, and they got to work on it. President Hudson, in my eyes, doing a great job. He's the architect of all of this. But listen, he's got to make Jackson State the largest HBCU.
Let me say this real quick.
With all the attention that Coach Prime is getting, yeah, I mean, Jackson State, Mr. Ford, yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely. Hold
on. Let me say this real quick. So I'm in the DMV area now, and the cost of living is crazy in the DMV area. So a lot of people would go down south to go to a HBCU where the cost of school is going to be cheaper, and that's why you see an influx of people going down south. So yeah, the cost of living is definitely cheaper. So Jackson State do have the chance to be the biggest HBCU if they get their enrollment up.
Just a little planning, little research, they can get it done.
Literally, the price for apartments up here, a studio is going to cost you over $2,000 up here. Yeah. A studio apartment. So the cost of living is crazy in this area. So that's why you see an influx of people going down south.
And one thing I think we're forgetting, listen, the South got the best weather. Who don't want to be in Georgia? If you come to Georgia and you play golf, 365 days, 300 of them days you can play golf. We ain't even talking about Florida. We're not talking about Texas. We ain't talking about Mississippi. We ain't talking about Louisiana. Listen, everybody wants to come south.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree, Mr. Ford. So based on what SWAC Buzz just now said, that as far as like the DMV area being expensive, he's totally right. Yeah. I believe that the only cheap place, and I hate to say the word cheap, the only less expensive place on the East Coast is probably that has a big high influx of Black people is probably Delaware, Dover, Delaware, where Delaware State is. But based on what SWAC Buzz just now said, there go your influx of North Carolina A&T people, because from D.C. to North Carolina really ain't that far.
Well, and got to remember, North Carolina, A&T, and Howard, they're a national brand. Them kids is coming from everywhere. They coming from the Midwest. They coming from California. They coming from Detroit, Chicago. Because, listen, I mean, they can't say this because they're a Black school, But Prairie View and North Carolina A&T probably got the best 2 engineering departments in the country.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, hands down.
Yeah.
Not just HBCUs, but absolutely, Mr. Ford, absolutely.
That's right. Yeah, because you're talking about, you go to North Carolina A&T right now, it's 2,000 kids up there majoring in engineering.
Right.
Yeah, Mr. Ford, one of these calls we had, I said something like, I forgot which one it was, but I said something like, all you got to do is Google Prairie View University and NASA. Prairie View has always had a partnership with NASA because the engineering program. Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you for the call.
You know, Prairie View is the second oldest school in Texas. I think the oldest school is Texas A&M. The second oldest is Prairie View. I think it's the second oldest university in Texas. Somebody need to check that.
Yeah, a lot of y'all
put it in the chat because I think Prairie View is 1876. It's the second oldest university in Texas.
A lot of people
I
talking
think
about
Texas A&M is the oldest.
A lot of people talking about the apartment prices. Yeah, if you're gonna get an affordable apartment in the DMV area, you're gonna have to move out to Northern Virginia, or you're gonna have to move to Maryland, close to Baltimore, or something like that. If you're going in DC,
and see, the people
close to
behind
DC,
all these high prices and driving everybody crazy with these prices, that's Wall Street. That's Wall Street. Y'all got to remember, Wall Street run Biden. Biden don't run Wall Street. Wall Street run him.
All right, let me get this other call. Hold on just a second. What's going on, caller? You live? Talk to me.
Hey, man, just wanted to let you guys know as far as about that, where Jackson State's attendance should be. I agree with everything that you guys are saying. I think the 2 hurdles that most people don't understand, a lot of people don't even know this, Mississippi actually has more community colleges or junior colleges than California.
Oh, wow.
And what has traditionally happened is that Jackson State, Alcorn, and Valley actually in the late 80s, early 90s created a wonderful bridge program for high school students. And it was a 2-part bridge program. So a lot of people hear bridge programs and they think about just the students who didn't really have the grades and need extra remedial help. But it was actually a bridge program for both gifted students and students who needed remedial help. The state IHL, as a way to keep Black colleges from profiting off of that, basically just funded Hines Community Colleges and other.
I was just about to talk about that.
As a way to get the community college. In fact, I was in the 90s. Hines got so bold, they actually petitioned IHL to let them offer junior level classes. And the HBCU was like, then they won't be a community college if you let them offer.
And they actually get HBCU money because
exactly.
Utica campus was a HBCU.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why they get it, is because a lot of people, I'm glad you brought that up. People don't know that Utica was actually founded by the guy who was a direct student under Booker T. Washington. The guy who founded Utica, and I don't know why I can't think of his name, but he was a direct. He came from the Black college tree of Booker T. Washington, and that's why Utica was such a great it was a Black college. And that you're right. And so Hines, which is basically a PWI, gets HBCU money because of Utica, and no one has really successfully challenged it. And that was one of the things.
And they got more than Jackson State. They got more money than Jackson State previously. That's the trick bag. That's the trick bag I've been talking about. That they know how to work the system to get the money that they want. I think your call, bro.
They had Hines listed as an HBCU.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is getting that and to the caller who talked about. Well, a lot of people don't know that Jackson State has always had about 25-30% of its population out of state, and a good deal of that has come from Chicago and Detroit, and even as far as California, as Mr. Ford said. So everybody what you guys are saying about where Jackson State's enrollment should be, you guys are exactly right. And it's not that we haven't been trying, but as you know, every time like I said, it was that bridge program was a wonderful bridge program. And I'll end on this. The one thing that we have to do though is that, going back to the 80s when I came out of school, there's 7 high schools in the city of Jackson. And so those high schools do what's called a top 10. So that's 70 students. That was a time when 70% of those students were going to Jackson State. So if you had 70 students, whatever 70% of 70 is, they were going to Jackson State. As recently as about 5 years ago, I think of those 70 students, maybe only 3 or 4 chose Jackson State. And I like that Thomas Hudson, President Hudson now, is really understanding if we can win the battle, just like the athletic battle, if we can win the academic battle for the 7 public schools and get those top 70 students, it will then recreate that domino effect of Jackson State getting to that population where you guys are saying they needed to go. But that's all I wanted to say, man. Enjoy the content. Y'all keep having a good night.
All right, thank you. All right, I got 2 more calls I'm gonna get, and then we'll shut it down for tonight. Hold on just a second. All right, caller, you live. Talk to me. Hello.
Good evening, Sweat Buzz. Good evening, Mr. Ford. It's Malachi.
What's going on, Malachi?
It's Malachi. So one of the things I want to touch up on real quick is being at this game guide scheduled at Jacksonville Stadium. I feel like this is actually going to be a good thing for recruiting, and I think Mr. Ford, I'm pretty sure you can contest to this because I'm from Sylvester, Georgia. I'm from
I got relatives in Sylvester.
Yep. So I'm from the whole 229 area.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, you got Cairo, you got Bainbridge, you got Tifton,
right.
You got Perry, not Perry, but might as well claim Perry as 229 also. But also you got what do they call from Tifton? There's another place, AL, Cook County.
Yeah.
I can keep going on, and Colquitt, which is, everybody know who Colquitt is. Even North people, high schools from North Georgia are scared to play Colquitt. So basically what I'm getting at is, being that Kirby Smart, he kind of gonna shoot himself in the foot when it comes to recruiting. I know people saying, no, he ain't, big Georgia, they gonna get whoever. It is what it is. Y'all can say that, but he's gonna shoot himself in the foot if they do get rid of that game. And let's say this game does.
Well, they're not gonna get rid of the game because see, there's the thing about the University of Georgia. The University of Georgia is controlled by them multimillionaire farmers, white farmers down there in South Georgia. That's who controls the University of Georgia. That game ain't going nowhere. I don't care if he's talking about it, heard his recruit. If he goes back and look at the 30s, I'm telling you, the white Georgia alums in the 30s put that game in Jacksonville so that South Georgia people would have an easy access of seeing the team. They put that game down there.
And
he doesn't know his history.
Let me say this real quick. Georgia's recruiting isn't all that hot to me because I just seen a post where the top 10 players in the 2023 class are from Georgia, and only one of them picked Georgia. All the rest of them went to other P5 schools.
Georgia's kind of like Florida now. These kids in Georgia go everywhere.
They just won the championship.
They'll go to Michigan. They'll go to Ohio State. They'll go. Now, Auburn lives in here. Actually, people don't know this, but the largest Auburn alumni group is in Atlanta, not in Birmingham, in Atlanta. Nick Saban comes in here, get anything he wants. Now, back in the day, Bobby Bowden owned South Georgia. You can go back and check it. He owns South Georgia. This guy, Debo Sweeney, he comes into Georgia and get anything he wants. Now, when Philip Farmer was at Tennessee, he would come in here and get anything he wants. So the kids at Georgia, they go everywhere. Now, here's the thing about Georgia, and this is why it's key. Georgia is growing at an alarming rate. I think I told y'all, right now Georgia's at 10 million people. They're saying in 3 years, Georgia's going to be at 14.7 million. Now, that doesn't mean anything to Florida now, because you got to remember, for a long time, whatever our population was, Florida's population doubled it. We're 10 right now. Florida's over 21 million. Okay? So, listen, the South right now, I'm just going to say it is the place to be. This is where everybody wants to come. They want to come to the South.
Right.
Yep.
Go ahead and finish up, Malachi, so I can get to the next caller.
Yeah, no problem. I feel like it's been like that. To me, it just not been happening. It's been like that for a while because there's been plenty of people for the past 5 or 6 years from the North that's been moving to the South. And also,
but they ain't got no choice now. I keep telling them people now, them people got to lead the north, because if they gonna eat, they better get down here where they plant food. If they gonna eat, they better come south.
All right, thank you for the call, Malachi. Let me get the next caller. Hold on just a second. What's going on, caller? You live? Talk to me.
How you doing, SWAC Buzz? This is Lauren. I'm calling in.
Yeah, try to turn the background down because it's gonna loop back. Yeah, turn the stream off in the background.
All right. So, addressing Mr. Ford regarding JSU enrollment, I don't see JSU growing in net terms of being the largest HBCU, just based on the fact that Mississippi as a whole is declining. The population here is declining, especially amongst the younger generation, because we also have to look at the factors that which kids go to college for, which is jobs. So if you have with technology being a big, that's going to be the next job target, for the next few decades, Mississippi doesn't have that infrastructure of technology, jobs to support, for kids graduating college. They have to leave the state.
Yeah, I mean, that's what kids go to college for. They go to college and then they leave the state and go. Well, most of them do. They leave the state and go work everywhere. You think people staying in Tuscaloosa? You think they staying in Hold on. You think them Alabama graduates staying in Tuscaloosa? Yeah, the state that the school is in, the city that the school is in doesn't matter. The kids will come from everywhere, the East Coast, the West Coast, everywhere to a country school in Alabama, Georgia, or Mississippi, get their degree, then go back to wherever city they want to go to, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, wherever they want to move to, and find a job and work. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. But go ahead.
And I just told y'all, the biggest alumni chapter for Auburn University is not in Birmingham, it's in Atlanta.
Okay. Well, the second point of it is you have to just basically look at the economic, just look at the economics. Mississippi's minimum wage is still at $7.25 an hour. So just say, you have just say if you have 65% of students that have to work their way through college and you increase tuition, that's really going to make it harder for them, with the current job market. The jobs don't pay that much here. So that's also why people leave. And in terms, like I say, Mississippi is declining. So, I mean, you're saying that, the southern states, but we got to look at it. There's only certain places here in the South that people are actually going to. The really states that are growing is mostly out west with, Texas, Arizona becoming one of them. And people are still going to California. Some are leaving, but they're still going in droves.
And they're leaving. So, they're definitely leaving because the cost of living out in California for a lot of people is too high. Even that boy that runs Tesla, what's his name? He's telling them he's leaving California, and I think he's bought a whole town in Texas. What's his name? What's
Elon Musk.
Name that owns Tesla?
Elon Musk.
He listen. He said he's pulling out of California.
Yeah, Lauren, I disagree with you here.
He bought a town in Texas.
Well, he's doing that because he has the SpaceX, so he's doing that to set up his operations for his company. So, and it was, he hasn't really fully left California. Like his base of operations are still out there in California with Tesla. So,
yeah, but he bought a town in Texas. He's getting ready to do something.
Amazon is building a center in Mississippi.
The South has land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if these black people would buy up this land, baby, you will always have wealth because you can't reproduce land. If we would come in here and buy up land and buy it as groups and as communities and co-ops and all of that, baby, we can solve some problems now.
Carly, you kind of sound muffled.
Mississippi got land.
You kind of sound muffled. Can you talk clearly into the phone?
Okay, so
yeah, that's better.
Regarding the land situation, regarding the land situation, a lot of that land it's actually owned, and majority of it is owned by these farmers here. If we have a lot of land. If you ever been in Mississippi, you would know we have a lot of open land. Now, if you look around, you would just think, what could actually be put here. But the point is this: Mississippi is not going to move from they're not ready to make that move from solely dependent off agriculture. So we're not.
Yeah, well, I mean, George. I mean, if you take Atlanta out of Georgia, that's all Georgia would be an agricultural
Thank
state.
you for the call, Lauren.
Okay, but they do this state does have Atlanta. But I'm just telling you, as long as you buy land and acquire land, you got half the battle won. And that's what we got to do in Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, South Carolina. We got to buy land. And we don't have to buy it as an individual. We need to buy it as groups, communities, churches, co-ops. That's what we got to do. We got to start looking at stuff as a nation instead of looking at everything as an individual.
Right, I agree. Let me get this next call. This will be the last call for tonight. What's going on, Caller? You live. Talk to me.
Hey, what's up? I went to A&T. I'm an A&T alum.
I've heard you 100 times. We know you.
We know you. Also, what helped us become a bigger university is because we're an hour and a half from Charlotte, one way, hour and a half from Raleigh, the other way. And there's so many Fortune 500 companies within a distance. So when you're talking about, and I mentioned we have the largest career fair in the state. We have over 200 companies that come, and even Chapel Hill, they come to we have students from other schools that come to our career fair. So when it comes to recruiting, Bank of America has an office in Charlotte. So when it comes to relocation packages and all of that, it's much easier for me to get somebody from North Carolina A&T and send them to Charlotte than pay for a relocation package and all of that. So when a lot of companies come in within an hour and a half distance, that's also what's worked to our advantage. So,
listen, you're preaching to the choir. I'm a big fan of North Carolina A&T. You have one of the greatest histories of all. The only thing I'm upset with is y'all let Hilton trick y'all off into joining that CAA, and before that Big South. That's the only thing I got a problem with. When it comes to North Carolina A&T, that's the school that produced Jesse Jackson, his wife, numerous of the guy who went up in the shuttle that died, Ronald McNair. He's a graduate of North Carolina A&T. A&T is one of the greatest black schools in the United States. I ain't got no problem with A&T. Only problem I got with them is that they joined that CAA and they joined that Big South, and they didn't need them. You let that Hilton man, that what is he, Church of Latter-day Saints member, trick y'all into joining that CAA. That's my problem. But other than that, A&T is one of the greatest schools in this country.
Yeah, I agree. They are. But like I said, Jackson State isn't that far behind in enrollment now. Don't think they can't catch you.
I mean,
y'all only like 2,000 or 3,000 away. 2,000 or 3,000 ahead.
We're at 13,500. Y'all were about 10 grand. Y'all at 10,000.
Yeah, I said about 3,000. I said y'all about 3,000 away.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's not bad. I think I don't know what's the biggest city, and I've been to Jackson. I don't know what's the biggest metropolitan place, but I think it would be great if more companies came to Jackson or within an hour away, or maybe New Orleans, because that's probably the closest biggest city. That would kind of help to keep, because it's easy to recruit. It's easy.
And Birmingham close to Jackson?
Yeah, I think.
I know.
Yeah, I think it's closer than New Orleans.
Yeah,
because I know
New
Orleans is like 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Atlanta is 5 hours away.
A lot of people
Memphis
from Jackson and Alcorn and Mississippi Valley, they leave those schools and live in Birmingham.
Memphis
and we
is 3 hours
about the
away.
ones that come to Atlanta.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I believe somebody was right with them.
Oh no, Birmingham is 3 hours and 29 minutes away from Jackson. So it's actually longer than New Orleans.
That's a bad drop for a relocation purchase. So because you got, like, I'm not from North Carolina and I've lived in DC, but there's plenty of people from North Carolina who don't want to leave the state. They don't want to live at home, but they don't want to leave the state, and it's big enough so if they're from Raleigh, they may live in Charlotte or Columbia, South Carolina, So it's definitely in a good space where it's enough colleges and it's enough big companies where you can maneuver.
Yeah, so New Orleans is the closest big city.
Oh, it is?
So, but yeah, I mean, I think the only thing y'all do is just because usually when you win in sports, everything happens. That's kind of what happened to us.
Jerome said, put me on so I can address this guy. All right, I'm gonna put you on. I'm gonna put you on the call.
Campbell, what you said, Miss Campbell? What you said about? I don't know what. I'm from Jackson. I don't know what they're talking about. What you talking about, Mr. Campbell?
Hold on, let me put Jerome on. Let's see what Jerome got to say.
Oh, okay. What's going on? Call in. Tell me what you're talking about.
What's going on, Jerome? What you got to say?
Yeah, to the caller that just called in from A&T, you know, I'm a Jackson State alum. I reside here in Charlotte. And number one, let me just preface this by saying I grew up in North Carolina. You know, I'm a fan of A&T as well. Just know, man, that your enrollment success is based off of the fact that the state of North Carolina has been the most progressive Southern state as it pertains to its attitudes of financing its public HBCUs.
Right.
A&T has been definitely a flagship school for the state, and they've allowed you guys to grow and flourish more than these other Southern states have. Now, number two, let me correct you, man. All these Fortune 500 companies that are going to A&T and Howard to recruit, those same companies are coming to Jackson State as well. They've been going to Jackson State, whether it's engineering, whether it's College of Business. As a matter of fact, you mentioned Bank of America. One of their senior VPs, who's a member of our chapter, she's a Jackson State alumna. We have so many alumni here in Charlotte that work on the corporate side for Wells Fargo, Truist, Bank of America, et cetera. Dozens of engineering companies within the Raleigh-Durham area and Charlotte. So best believe they're coming to Jackson State. They've been, because look, Jackson State is your sister institution. I can't tell you how many partnerships that we've had with A&T over the last 25 years, because for the majority of that time, we've been only two of the only four R2 institutions. It used to be called high research activity. But don't misconstrue our level of academic dexterity or academic profile. We've been there. And because of our reputation, all these companies from the West Coast to the Midwest to the East Coast, they've always come to Jackson State to recruit heavily. And to be honest, that's been our bread and butter when it comes to these Ole Miss fans and these Mississippi State fans. Listen, when they come to a HBCU, they're looking to recruit a student who looks like you. When they go to those PWIs, they're not looking for you. That's all I got.
Now, let me ask you something. The state of North Carolina has, 11 or 12 HBCUs?
They got 11.
They got 11. But now Alabama has the highest number, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I know within Greensboro, there's probably 6 that's within an hour and a half away from each other. Because an hour and a half, you got what? You got Johnson C. Smith in Charlotte, and you got Livingstone in Salisbury. Then obviously you got Winston,
Fayetteville State. You got
State. So there's enough, and that what they call the Pride area. It's probably about 6 within, probably within an hour and a half drop.
Yeah, because y'all got Shaw University, you got St. Aug. You know, there was a school that Mary McLeod went to. I don't know if it's still over. It was called Barbara Scotia.
Barbara Scotia,
yeah.
It's in the suburbs.
Didn't they have a St. Paul, or is that Virginia? Where's St. Paul?
That's in Virginia. That's in Lawrenceville.
That's in Virginia, right? Okay.
So I mean, even with
Johnson C. Smith.
Yeah, even in Mississippi, I mean, we only have 2 less HBCUs in North Carolina.
Appreciate the call, DeAndre.
Okay. Say it again. Oh
no, I was saying appreciate the call, DeAndre.
This is my point, man. When it comes to A&T, and another focal point when it comes to the success of your HBCU, you got to have consistent leadership. President Martin has been at A&T, I want to say, since 2008. So with the exception of Dr. Harvey at Hampton, who just retired, and possibly the brother that was at Talladega who just retired, he's the longest tenured HBCU president. So you have,
and don't forget that guy that was at Xavier. Wasn't he down there 50 years?
He was. I want to say he retired back in 2015 or 14.
Yeah, he was there like 50 years.
But yeah, A&T is a benefactor of having the perfect recipe, of having a solid leadership in President Martin that's been there for so long, but they've got the backing of the state. And, you know what I'm saying, a lot of our states, you know, from Delaware on down, we don't have that testimony. Like, look, we gotta do what the state of Maryland did. You know, you saw the state of Maryland, they sued the state.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those HBCUs, or 4 HBCUs, they got all that money. Now Morgan State is about to build a school of medicine. You know, they're about to become the first public HBCU with a medical school. So, you know, honestly,
that's awesome.
Aside from all the housing issues and funding issues, that's what it's going to take for our schools in the Deep South to get what's rightfully deserved to us. We got to sue the state.
And hey, don't forget, the state of Tennessee owes Tennessee State $500 million.
Absolutely.
They owe them half. They went back and did the research. The state of Tennessee owes Tennessee State over $500 million.
Wow.
And let me tell you, Mr. Ford and SWAC Buzz, think about this before I let y'all go. The fact that Tennessee and South Carolina and Florida and I believe Arkansas, they only have one public HBCU out of all the HBCUs in that state. Unless you know, the only reason why those schools are publicly funded is because they're land grant. It's so sad, man. When you go to South Carolina and you visit South Carolina State, it's like you're time traveling. Like, it's not a shot at South Carolina State or HBCU brothers, but man, the facilities are so outdated. You can tell it's just systematic racism, man.
Yeah.
And North Carolina.
Remember now that the money that was supposed to go to South Carolina State was diverted to Coastal Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Coastal Carolina didn't become a college until 1974. They took the money that was supposed to go to South Carolina State and gave it to Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, not just Coastal, but, you know, USC Upstate, USC Aiken.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so,
that's right.
It's just really sad, man, when you really look at the disparity. Like, you cross the border from South Carolina into North Carolina, it's like night and day, especially when it comes to higher education. So I want the Aggies to know you guys have been blessed to have a state legislature that's been so supportive of y'all schools. A lot of us don't have that. You know, we got to sue the state to get what's owed out. You know, with the Ayers case in Alabama, they did the same thing. So
they did the same thing.
You know, aside from several different tactics, you know, when it comes to increasing our enrollment and whatnot, we've got to, our alumni associations or just a third party has to step up like Jake Ayers did and sue the state to get what's owed to us. So that's all I got.
All right. Thank you for the call, Drum.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Mr. Ford, you going to close us out?
Yeah, I'm just thinking it's going to be a great season. I just think I'm just looking forward to the season. I think it's going to be great. I've got to get that, what you call it, HBCU pass? Is that right?
HBCU Go. HBCU Go. I think they're still creating the app.
HBCU Go, I got to get it.
Yeah, I don't think they have the app yet.
Doing the play-by-play. Charlie Neal is doing that. So I got to check my wife to get that, make sure we can get that. Because they're doing, I think, 10 games.
Yeah, I think they're going to have an app soon, too. But I know you can go. They have a website where you can go.
I want to see that because I've always loved Charlie Neal. I love Charlie Neal. For me, is the GOAT when it comes to play-by-play of black college football. There's nothing like. I love Tiffany Green, but Charlie Neal is the GOAT.
Yeah. I haven't heard him much, but I believe you. I take your word for it.
He was great. He was initially he started out with Lem Barney. Lem Barney is a Jackson State great, Hall of Famer, NFL Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Then after Lem Barney left, he brought in Doug Williams. I think Doug left him and went to Navy or somewhere. And then he brought in Nate Newton and Jay Walker. And that's how Jay Walker got his start. And by the way, let me just say this before I go. One of the things I wish y'all would write in to Jay Walker, tell him to stop all that buffoonery and all of that minstrel stuff. Every time that Tiffany tried to ask a serious question, he interfered with some kind of buffoonery. Let me tell you, the best interviews was Roland Martin. If y'all didn't see Roland Martin's interviews, he asked the tough questions.
Yeah.
Go back and look at Roland Martin was there at the SWAC Media Day. He did about 3 or 4 hours. I'm serious. It was awesome.
Yeah.
He is totally professional.
Yeah. Roland been doing it for years, though. So
he plays too much. And somebody tell me, isn't Jay Walker a lawyer? Isn't he an attorney?
Not totally sure.
Yeah, because, I mean, it was too much buffoonery, too much minstrel. You know, she would try to ask a deep question, and then he would, no, bring it down to that minstrel stuff. Everything is not a joke.
Yeah. I like Roland. Roland, he's
Roland
coming from the
awesome.
political side, so he knows how to
he's
really go at people like with the hard questions.
Yeah.
He's actually was
asked
really
questions.
liked on people on the SWAC coaches and stuff when asking questions, because I've seen Roland go in on some politicians. Like
Listen,
he's
Roland
interviewing politicians.
and Coach McKinney at Texas Southern went to the same high school. You know that, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they went to Jack Yates. Roland came out in '86. McKinney came out in '89.
Mm-hmm.
They went to the same school.
Yeah, I like Tiffany. She's very good.
I love Tiffany.
Yeah.
I like Jay, but sometimes it's all that playing and all that buffoonery. You got to cut that out.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. Like, I guess maybe in his mind, he feels like, oh well, I'm at a HBCU event. I can, kick my shoes off and be cool, So that's probably the way he's thinking. When some people they don't like that.
I just thought she was trying to ask some serious questions, and he interfered a lot with, like I said, buffoonery with the minstrel show.
They gonna be mad at that, Mr. Ford. But yeah, Mr. Ford, I appreciate you calling. You're always welcome.
And have a good night. When are you going on again, SWAC?
Definitely be next Sunday. I might do another one between in the middle of the week. I'll let you know.
Okay.
But yeah, like when the season start, I'll be doing them more times a week when the season start. But until then,
okay. Have
Sunday.
A good night, and have a good night, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Bye bye.
All right. Well, we got another one in the books tonight, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Let's see how many likes did we get to tonight. Did we get to 200? Did we get to 200 tonight? Let's see. We 3 away from 200. Come on now, y'all. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. We right at 2 hours and 13 minutes. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll be dropping more videos this week, and like we go live every Sunday. I might do another live Wednesday or Thursday. Depends on what happened through the week. But I'll let y'all know, I'll post about it. But if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure y'all follow me on Twitter, because I'm always on Twitter updating y'all on stuff. So make sure y'all follow me on Twitter. But thank y'all for tuning in, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. I'm gone.